Okay, we are back with Joey Pigza, Loses Control. Yesterday we read chapter 5. Joey's dad is coaching the baseball team, and Joey actually is going to be on the team. His dad said he was probably going to sit the bench because it was his first time and he had actually never played ball before. And believe it or not, the dad put him in. He did a pretty decent job with his pitching, but he didn't really know how to hit the ball, which is expected because you need to practice to be able to hit. We met Lizzie, and we think Lizzie might be his girlfriend. But she was super nice to him. She ordered him a pizza. She got Pablo a little jersey. She just really was upbeat, and she really had the dad in check. When he started acting out, she got him by the neck. So things are looking up for Joey. Chapter 6, Thinking. When I woke up, I wiggled my foot around, but Pablo had already crawled out of the bottom of the bed and tiptoed out of the room. I left the bedroom door open so he could escape and pee. Yesterday, I had kept the door closed, and he peed on a pair of Grandma's terry cloth slippers she had left in the closet. I didn't tell her about the slippers, and when she was at the front door getting an oxygen tank delivery, I stuffed them into the bottom of the kitchen trash, then washed my hands. I rolled out of bed, landed on my feet and hands, and hopped up. I walked over to my dresser. Dad and I now had a system where if he went to work early, he'd leave a patch for me in a glass ashtray. But this morning, there was no patch in the ashtray, just a couple of Grandma's cigarette butts. So I knew she had been snooping around my stuff, and I figured Dad must not be up yet. I pulled on my jeans and went looking for Pablo. When I entered the kitchen, Grandma was sucking the air out of her tank so loudly it sounded like someone pumping up a bicycle tire. "Hello, Sleeping Beauty," she said with a voice that sounded like a board dragged across gravel. "I've been waiting over 2 hours for you to get up." "Is Dad up?" "He didn't leave me a patch. I'm out of cigs," she cackled. "And I'm broke. And your dad's out." Said he had something big to do. "I only have my emergency cash," I said. "That'll do." "I don't think I should give it to you," I said. "Not until you tell me where Dad is." "He's gone," she said. "Everything that man does is a binge, and now he's on a thinking binge. And he's in love with each and every one of his big thoughts. But forget about him for now and think about this, mister." She stopped and sucked in a crackling breath. "No cash for me, then no dog for you." "Pablo?" I shouted, looking left and right and ducking down to peek under the table. "Pablo!" I turned to face Grandma. "Where'd you put him?" "He's fine," she said. $5 and I'll tell you where he is," she said, and snapped her hand out towards me like a music box monkey. "Okay," I agreed. I went into the bedroom and reached into my pillowcase where I hid my money Mom gave me. I had a $20 bill and my quarters. When I returned to the kitchen, I blurted out, "You can only have 5. "Settle down," she said. "I'll give you change." I held out the 20 and she snatched it with her quick fingers. "Where's Pablo?" "Check the TV cabinet," she said with her voice grinding to a halt as a spasm of coughing left her bent over. She turned and spit something into a matted handkerchief, then leaned back towards the counter and closed her eyes. I ran out to the living room. The TV was tuned to a Sunday church show. I turned down the volume and I could hear Pablo whimpering and scratching behind the cabinet door. I yanked it open, and there he was, along with the slippers that he had peed in. "You can't hide a thing from me," she said, inching up on me. "So don't try. If that dog pees on my shoes again, I'll put a stamp on his butt and mail him to the Oscar Mayer factory." Okay, why is that so funny? Because he's an Oscar Mayer wiener, half wiener dog. "Pablo, baby," I cooed and held him against my chest so that he could look up and lick my chin. His fur smelled as nasty as the slippers. "Come on," Grandma said. "Enough of this love fest. You have to get me to the corner store because they won't sell you cigs on account of your age." "1 minute," I said. I got Pablo rinsed off in the kitchen sink and met Grandma on the front porch. The grocery cart with the old couch cushion still in it was on the sidewalk. I helped her climb up the stepladder and got her oxygen tank in place. Then I strapped Pablo in his baby seat and we were off. I went down the street to avoid the broken sidewalk. I wasn't worried about cars because with the way we looked, I figured the drivers would be plenty worried about us. "So," she said, "have you met Carter's girlfriend yet?" "Do you mean Lizzie?" "Who else?" she said. "Yeah. I think she's a bad influence on him," she said. "Every time your father gets a girlfriend, he forgets he's a born mess. So it doesn't take him long before he loses control of his senses and goes down the drain." "I thought she was pretty nice," I said. "Every time Dad got crazy at the game, she settled him down." "Well, you haven't seen him unravel like I have," she said. "And I could tell you his downfall always starts with getting a new girlfriend. Just don't tell your mom about her. If you have any hope of getting them back together, you can't tell her about Lizzie. I guarantee you, once Lizzie gets wind of how nuts he is, she'll head for the hills. You can bet on that." I could feel myself pulled apart between Mom and Dad as I kept pushing the rattling cart down the street. I was wondering if when you got married, you always told the other person the truth all the time, because it seemed to me that I could only tell Mom some of the things about Dad, and I could only tell him some of the things about her. Then I thought, maybe that's why their marriage broke up, because they couldn't tell the whole truth to each other. When we got to the store, there wasn't a curb ramp, so Grandma said, "Park her out front. Tell the cashier, either Betty or Claire, to come out here and speak to me if they need proof that cigs aren't for you." I lifted Pablo and brought him with me. I didn't want her to dog nap him for the rest of my $20.